This podcast is a production of Widener Law Commonwealth in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. For more information, visit commonwealthlaw.widener.edu/podcast. Now here's your host, Julie Massing.
Welcome to Widener Law Commonwealth's podcast. Today we are going to be delving into the topic of student organizations on campus. And today we have with us Mary Catherine Scott, who is the Director of Student Organizations.
Hi, Julie.
Hi. And then also Genna Moscato, who is a third-year law student at Widener Law Commonwealth, and she's the President of SBA. Thanks so much.
Hello.
Hi. So my first question, I'm going to kind of jump right in here, Mary Catherine, is how many student orgs are there on campus?
Currently, with the honor societies and the student organizations, we have about 12. But that changes year to year, Julie, depending on the number of students, depending on the interest of students, both off campus and on campus. It could be as high as I've seen 17 or as low as, what we are now, between 10 and 12.
Okay. And what are some of how does a student get involved? What are the qualifications for a student to become part of an organization? I know that we have table day. Each semester we kind of start with that. How does that work?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head with regard to table day. The beginning of every semester when the students are fresh, new on campus, first-year students, and students that haven't been active in some of the student organizations have the opportunity, beginning a semester, my office, the Office of Student Affairs, organizes what you call table day, which is where all the student organizations set up a table in the main building in the pit and set out their wares. Let them know through brochures, through posters, just through one-on-one contact what they do on campus, what they do off campus, what are some of their benefits to involvement. Really trying to recruit students to become involved, and that's what makes the campus so great.
Okay. Now, I kind of want to shift over to Genna and talk a little bit about our biggest student organization, which is our SBA, our Student Bar Association. Yes. And that's our student government organization on campus. So what role does the SBA play on campus? Can you tell me more about the structure of that, how it kind of oversees a lot of the organizations?
Sure. So this year, the Student Bar Association actually went through a restructuring. We revamped our constitution to mimic like the Pennsylvania Bar Association, to mimic another bar association where we have committees. So student organizations that don't have a local affiliation became a committee under the Student Bar Association, and we make sure that their budgets are in check, that they're having the events that they're supposed to, that they said they were going to have, and that they get the proper approval from Mary Catherine. And we also have other organizations that are considered national. We manage their budgets and that they are within the limits of spending and doing everything properly. So we're basically the governing body, the overarching body that makes sure that everybody is having their events as well as staying within the guidelines.
Okay. Talk a little bit about, you mentioned local affiliations versus national affiliations. Can you tell me the difference there?
Sure. So local organizations that have local affiliations are only at Widener Law Commonwealth. These are organizations like the Women's Law Caucus, versus a national affiliation would be the Federal Bar Association, that it could be at other schools and other states besides just the Widener Law Commonwealth.
Okay. And now you also touched on a little bit about funding and managing budgets. I want you to talk a little bit about the mission of SBA and also how that budgeting financial part kind of works for all the organizations, including the SBA.
Sure. So the funding from the Student Bar Association comes from the students here at Widener Law Commonwealth. There's a fee that comes out of their tuition, and that then compiles our budget. The student orgs then request a certain amount from us, and we make sure that they are staying within their limits.
Now, you're an officer. Obviously, you're the president. And yes. How many officers are there on the SBA?
So on the SBA, we have the president, we have the vice president, then we have vice president of social, vice president academic, a secretary, and vice president treasurer. And then we also have an American Bar Association liaison.
Okay. And those officers are elected each year, correct?
Yes.
So there's a new board each year?
Yes.
Okay. And so say I'm a student and I don't necessarily want to run for an officer position, but I would really like to get involved. What are some of the roles that I could become involved in? What else is there for me to do with the SBA?
In addition to being on the executive board, we also have class representatives. So a lot of us that are now on the executive board started out as class representatives, but since there are so few positions, we encourage students who maybe didn't get elected for a class representative to still come to our meetings, stay involved, come to our events, because then it shows that you are interested and you can still be involved even though you weren't given the position.
Let's talk a little bit about the events. I know that the SBA tries to be pretty active in the community and raise some funds for organizations. Tell me about the fun stuff that you guys do.
So we host a lot of social events, like you had said. We just had our Halloween party. We have one every year. This year for our philanthropic event, we're actually changing it up a little bit. On school, we have a 5K in the spring. It's actually PAD's 5K. So we're joining...
Can I stop you just for a sec? What's PAD? Tell me.
Phi Alpha Delta. That's one of the national organizations that Genna referred to.
Okay.
But locally, they run or they operate a 5K, which brings alums back to campus, local attorneys, people that are interested in running. But through that event, we raise money for the local legal services office, Mid-Penn Legal Services, and also the VITA, the Volunteer Income Tax Association, where we help low-income people with their income tax.
Okay.
In addition to some of the other things that Genna mentioned that SBA overreaching organizes and plans, we also have other student organizations that also participate in things in the community, such as Wills for Heroes, expungement clinics, things of that nature that the students are very active, not only on campus, but off campus as well.
Okay. As these students are involved, what benefits are there, and both of you can answer this for me, what benefits does participating in not just SBA, but a student org in general, how does that help to further the career of a law student? How does that prepare them for their law school career, or even their career after law school?
Being a part of an organization, whether it's the Student Bar Association or any other organization we have on campus, provides for a well-rounded individual. When you go into the work field, you're not going to just work. You're not going to just go to work 9 to 5 and that's it. You're going to have a life. You're going to have family. You're going to have other events that are going on. So being a part of these organizations allows you to start now with managing your time, how to balance, and there really is no other way to get a feel for how that works if you don't start now.
And I would echo that. In addition, I think, as Genna said, it's also a good outlet. You're not just going to be studying. It gives the students an opportunity to do other things, and they're just not focusing on their academics and their schoolwork. And from a standpoint of after graduation, I think it looks really good on your resume to demonstrate not only were you part of an honor society on campus, but you participate in student organizations that really reached out into the community, and you became a part of not only Widener Commonwealth law, but the greater Harrisburg area.
I want to go back to, you mentioned honor societies. Mm-hmm. So I would assume that students have to have a particular GPA or certain qualifications to maybe get into those. What's the difference between an honor society and maybe just a regular type of student org?
So with an honor society, there is a minimum GPA requirement. It differs slightly with each of the honor societies, whereas a organization that's more philanthropic, more of events that you can hold, fundraisers. With an honor society, it definitely boosts your resume. It helps your academic side.
What's an example of an honor society versus an on-campus organization?
Well, for example, we have 2 law journals on campus. Mm-hmm. Again, either writing on to the law journals or to maintain a GPA. In addition, there's Moot Court Honor Society, there's Trial Advocacy Honor Society. So those are really geared to people that are interested in maybe advocating through their research, through their writing, through oral advocacy. And so those are really geared towards students that, number one, have that higher GPA, and number 2, really know what type of law they want to get into and those type of skills.
Okay. And Genna, I kind of wanted to talk to you about what's been the most surprising part of your role as president. We're about halfway through here. We're starting to come up on exam time, the holidays. So you're about halfway through your tenure. What has been the most surprising for you as president, or even the most challenging?
That the buck stops with me. I'm always the person that I get the questions. I get the praise if an event goes well. If it doesn't go well, I also hear the comments on that. So no matter what, because I'm the president, I'm the one who is the face of the organization. And even for other organizations on campus who have had their events, I've said, hey, good job. said to me, but it wasn't even my event. So definitely that the buck stops here.
Okay. I always like to kind of end with a fun question. So as we are kind of coming up on the holidays here, ladies, what is your favorite Thanksgiving side dish and or tradition that you have?
Go ahead. Do you want to start, Genna?
Sure. So I'll answer both. My favorite side dish is definitely mashed potatoes with corn, which might seem a little odd to some people. But also, we always end the night with looking through the flyers for Black Friday on Thanksgiving. So I always look forward to that.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
My favorite tradition is that I am able to have 2 Thanksgivings. My family hosts at lunchtime, and then we travel down to Philadelphia and visit with my husband's family. So I have 2 meals in one day.
Oh, goodness.
And it's wonderful. And then the other tradition that we always look forward to is the cousins are all home from college and from school, and that the ladies, I have 5 sister-in-laws, and we get to travel and do Black Friday and eat lunch and shop all day on Friday. Get away.
Well, thank you so much, ladies, for joining me today. This was excellent. I'm sure that this information will be very helpful to not only current students, but all of our prospective students as well. I wanted to thank our audience for joining us today. Thanks so much for listening to the Widener Law Commonwealth podcast. And please stay tuned. We'll have our next episode coming up soon.
Widener University Commonwealth Law School is the Pennsylvania capital's only law school, with 3 specialized centers of legal scholarship through its Law and Government Institute, Environmental Law and Sustainability Center, and Business Advising Program. Widener Law Commonwealth offers an exceptional learning experience that is personal, practical, and professional. Visit commonwealthlaw.widener.edu for more information.